Support solutions to exceed your expectations. Scale better with bettersupport.io. Better Support is a premium outsourcing alternative specializing in content writing, customer support, virtual assistance, and digital marketing. Johan Jedaker is founder and CEO at Better Support. So, hello, Johan. We're very happy to have you dito sa Startup Podcast.
Hi, Johnny. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm really excited to learn more about you. You actually started as a tourist and then you became a CEO. So I think that's an exciting story to know more about. But let's start with the first question, Johan. So ano nga ba or what is Better Support?
So, Better Support is a progressive outsourcing alternative catering to small and medium-sized businesses. And our concept is to give as much freedom as possible to our employees because in the end, that will provide better results for our clients. I'm sure we will dig in more to that later on.
Yeah, I think that's very nice. First of all, you mentioned progressive, and second, it's actually quite different for an outsourcing company to focus really on small and medium-sized enterprises. So maybe later on we can talk more about that. But before that, I'd like to know first about your story. So, Johan, can you tell us first what got you into the Philippines? And because before this, you actually also managed an outsourcing company in the Philippines for like more than 7 years. So, can you just tell some backstories being in the Philippines, managing that company, and then starting your own outsourcing company and being the CEO. So can you just tell like the story behind?
Yeah, sure. So it's not your typical story because I was not sent by one company to perform, any kind of business in the Philippines. It was when I was 24, 25. I lived in Australia, trying to figure out what to do in life, and was supposed to fly home to Sweden, but a friend of mine convinced me to have a stopover in Manila. And since I didn't have much plans of what to do next and sort of fell in love with the place, I did everything I could to find a job. And I tried for so many weeks and couldn't find anything until my last couple of days in Manila, where I managed to pick up a job as a bilingual customer service agent, working night shift. And basically, that's how my journey in the BPO industry started. It was a small company at the time that I worked for, with only 5, 10 employees, something like that. And I managed to become a manager, and then yeah, we scaled the company from 5 or 10 up to 200 employees, and I ended up as a co-owner and COO before I resigned and started my own. So that's the short story.
And this is actually a company in the Philippines. So you actually had a lot of experience working with Filipinos even before starting your own company. Is that right?
Exactly. I think that has been like so valuable.
And can I just ask, I mean, what do you like about the Philippines or even with Filipinos? I mean, what's in the country that you really like in particular?
I mean, how I feel when I'm in the Philippines, I feel happy because even though there are a lot of challenges in the country, I think that they really have Filipinos have a really positive attitude, and it really affects your mood in a positive way. And I mean, working with Filipinos for me, it's a big pleasure because they are always the extra mile, always smiling, happy, helpful with their colleagues, and that's my experience at least.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and maybe that's something that translates to like because there are, I mean, outsourcing and BPOs are really big in the Philippines. So maybe it's something like that personality those traits of Filipinos like translate to these services. But let's talk first about outsourcing, about BPO, the BPO industry in the Philippines. So first, can I ask you maybe like to define just to tell us what really is outsourcing? I mean, why do businesses outsource these support solutions? And e- e- especially in the context, like in the Philippines, outsourcing became big and outsourcing actually helped people to retain their jobs, especially during the pandemic. And BPO outsourcing is not just a simple job. It can actually like be a career, like a long-term career. So can you just lay this out down for us?
Yeah, so let's get the obvious reason first. Companies they want to cut their costs, especially for repetitive tasks that could be performed from anywhere. So I mean that's the number one. You're looking at a price reduction of somewhere from 50 to up to even up to 80% by outsourcing to the Philippines. Yeah, so I actually think that the pandemic was a catalyst for the outsourcing industry because many companies that hadn't already outsourced or only partially outsourced realized that it's actually not a huge difference if someone is working 30 kilometers from the office or if they are based in Asia. And I mean, I know there were a lot of challenges in the beginning of the pandemic because of outsourcing companies that wanted people to work on site, and there was also a lot of restraint because obviously people were scared of getting the virus, so they didn't really embrace that. But I really think that, I mean, in the end, and what the pandemic did is that it opened the eyes both for foreign clients acquiring outsourcing services as well as Philippine-based outsourcing companies to allow remote work, and I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, actually speaking about that, it kind of created that opportunity that people like from abroad realize that this kind of solutions can be outsourced and this can actually be made cheaper for them because like I mean not say it's bad, but like there's quite some, I mean, labor or work is like a bit cheaper here in the Philippines, so they can actually reduce their costs, right? And but going to the Philippines, like the you've worked you've managed a company in the Philippines, you've worked with Filipinos for a long time. So can you just like describe or tell us what how is the BPO industry or how is outsourcing the Philippines? Because it's as I mentioned, usually when you the reason why BPOs are like big in the Philippines because the starting salary is actually high and you can actually build your career. Because some people think that it's just like a part-time job, a job that you do before you get another career path. But you can actually build your career in the BPO industry, right? So can you tell more about this?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of things are changing as well with how outsourcing companies or BPO companies are built in terms of hierarchy and such. I think it's actually easier to climb the ladder now compared to before. And I mean, historically, like first line support has been what has been traditionally outsourced to the Philippines, and that is very much changing now with more advanced kind of work roles being outsourced. And I mean, my understanding is that a lot of Filipinos realize this now, and I mean, going into a career in BPO industry doesn't necessarily mean that you will stay as a first line agent and stay there for the rest of your life. I think there are many great career opportunities in many BPO companies nowadays.
Yes, and I think the reason is that like these companies do not outsource just simple jobs. It's actually like creative jobs, even like content writing, customer support, virtual assistants, and even digital marketing. So, speaking about this, can you just first tell us like currently what's the range of services that you can provide for your clients? So, like currently the people in better support. So, what can you do for potential clients of better support? So, what's like the range of services that you provide?
Yeah, so I mean, to explain it easy, we can basically do anything that a company could do, in house. But what we specialize in at the moment, we will grow the company. I will also be able to bring in expertise that can handle other types of accounts that I don't necessarily have all of the skills for at the moment.
So, is this more of like when a client needs a certain service, for example? So, is this like do you do it task based or do you do it like project based? Like you have a
Yeah.
client base, you have a manpower base, you have your team, you have the better support team. So, do you assign a client to a team member or do you assign a task to a team member? I'm just curious about how things go.
Yeah, sure. I mean, for us, we work. Our employees work exclusively with one client, so they don't jump around to uh, to different like accounts, and that is very important for us
Yes.
to build something sustainable.
Yeah, and I think that's very important because these are more of creative jobs. These are more specialized jobs, right? I mean, it's not just like the typical routine jobs, clerical jobs that these businesses typically or simply outsource. And so speaking about that, better support is actually also you mentioned progressive. So I think what separates a better support maybe like from other outsourcing companies. I think it's really special. But can you tell us really what makes you different? What's really like the edge maybe to other outsourcing companies, like, and the clients, and how you provide
Yeah,
the clients, and even to your team, to the team behind.
absolutely. So, I mean, thing that I found in the Philippines is that there is one thing that is more important to Filipinos than anything else. Do you have any guess what it could be? Not, it's not food, by the way.
Family. I don't know.
Family. Yeah, exactly. So we give our employees more time to spend with their family while not having to commute hours for to work every day. And we are passionate about remote work, not because it gives better conditions for our employees, but also that it translates to better results for our clients. And that is why we are 100% remote. Uh, but there's a caveat to it because we use some tech that most companies wouldn't use, such as a virtual office platform where we work at. So it really replicates like a physical office, and it has enabled us to build like a very nice company culture as well.
Do you meet physically? I mean, like, just for like some bonding or like some team building activities. Do you do this like
Yeah,
everyone?
absolutely. So I go quite regularly to the Philippines because I also realize that there are some things that you cannot replace by having people working remotely, and yeah, we have quite a lot of like team outings and such. But we also do a lot of events online, which is pretty cool.
Hmm. Yeah, but when I think about it, like BPOs in the Philippines, they are usually formed like there are teams. There are like small teams that they can really get close to each other. So I think it's really important, even like with a startup outsourcing company like Better Support, like building that, as you said, company culture. I think that's very important because, as you said, family. So you retain that family treatment within each other, and maybe also with the client. It really translates, like company culture maybe really translates. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, just for context, when I say virtual office, what it means is that when we work on a daily basis, what people do when they log in is that they access their microphone and webcam, and then we have an office in like a 2D overview, so we can go
Ah.
around and have casual, spontaneous conversations and collaborate and such. And yeah, it's pretty cool, and I'm amazed how well it's actually working.
And is the team mostly Filipinos, or maybe all Filipinos? I mean, yeah, are they all
Yeah,
Filipinos?
yeah, they are all except one. We also have one French citizen, but he actually lives in the Philippines with his
Uh,
family. So he's like half Filipino, I would say.
yeah, and going to the client side, I'm really curious about this. So, for example, for example, I'm an owner of a small or medium enterprise. So, first question, how will I know that I need this kind of service? And second, so how really does it work? I mean, if I go to you, if I ask you for this kind of service, so how does this work? Maybe I know you've
Yeah.
worked with a lot of clients, but maybe we can just paint the picture for this. Right? I mean, how a client can
Yeah.
really work with better support.
Yeah, so it's a good question, and it depends on the size of your business. I mean, our biggest client at the moment, they are turning over about $45 million dollars a year, so they are rather big. But if you're a small business owner, I mean, my best take on that would be that you feel that you have a little bit too much to do, and you sort of need someone to ease that pressure a little bit. And I mean, then we are a perfect solution because you can get what is a popular term nowadays, like a virtual assistant, a VA, that can bring some relief to, like time-consuming work tasks, such as updating social media, answering emails, go through Excel sheets, and so on.
Yeah, and in particular, I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, what kind of job or what kind of task in particular do like these clients? Let me say social media management, making cold calls, maybe like making this marketing, making this. I'm not sure. I don't know really. I mean, I'm just curious. Like, what kind of tasks do these clients really want?
Yeah, yeah, it really, really depends, but it's usually like repetitive tasks that doesn't require like that much training, and it's normally like something you grow with the client as well as they expand their business. They hand out more tasks for you to do. But I would say typical things like answering emails from customers, as I said, updating social media. It could also be like some research or updating some Excel sheets, that kind of stuff.
And I think there's actually also, I think I saw this in your website, influencer, like influencer style of digital marketing. Is that right? I mean, even produce
Mm.
content, even really like sell. I mean, sell, like be with. I mean, like, really work closely with the company. Is that right?
Absolutely. So our biggest team, it consists of 12 agents working for one of our e-commerce clients, and we drive all of their influencer marketing efforts from prospecting the right influencers to summarizing the outcome, using the content on our client's website, and so on. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's nice. That's nice. I mean, like for small and medium enterprises that really want to scale, especially in terms of like customer base, client base, their reach, their exposure, for example. Because digital marketing is not easy, and getting an in-house digital marketer is maybe very, very costly. So, I mean, if possible, why not outsource? If Better Support has like this really talented content creators and digital influencers. Now, can we hear some stories? I actually read some in your website, like some success stories of small and medium enterprises that you help. Actually, you help them scale because of what you do. So can we just hear a few stories like how some of your clients like scaled because of partnering up with Better Support? I've actually read some, but you can actually tell these stories to our listeners.
Yeah, sure. So I have a good example of. I mean, Better Support has not been around for so long. We have been up and running for about a year. Uh, but last year we had a client that is now like our flagship account that outsourced one agent to us, and now we have expanded so that we have the 20 FTEs. Uh, and I think that's a good example that, I mean, we have reduced their labor costs so much, and also saved them so much time that they have really been able to focus on their core business, which is to make their company grow. And I mean, I'm proud to say that we're a huge part of it.
Actually, now that I think about it, there's actually a trend that's happening in the world right now. I mean, with technology. I mean, BPOs have been there for. I mean, they're in the Philippines, especially even in other countries. I think like in India, there are a lot of BPOs, but they are more for like customer service, especially for like I think it started the flower industry, fulfilling orders, and then also in the computer, I mean hardware industry, like for customer support, basically. But right now, what's changing? I'd like to hear your thoughts about this too. I mean, right now people are finding more and more things to outsource because actually we realize, especially given the pandemic, that some things can actually be outsourced, cannot necessarily. I mean, you don't have to in-house them. You can actually outsource them. So now, maybe some companies accounting or finance, and with Better Support, it's actually like this customer service, virtual assistants, and also like content creation and digital marketing. So, what do you think about that? I mean, I think you're riding on that trend, and especially you're tackling on a different client base, SMEs, small and medium
Mm.
enterprises. So, yeah, what do you think about that trend? Do you agree with it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's something that we have seen, especially since the pandemic, and I think that Filipinos they have really built up a reputation. I mean, 10, 15 years ago, all you would hear that it's pretty like low quality. Now it's really the opposite. So it's definitely a trend that we're seeing now, and I think that what we also bring as value to our clients is that we understand the local culture, and they don't have to spend time hiring freelancers, which could be like a hit and miss,
Yes.
and also steal a lot of your time. So
Uh,
yeah, it's happy days for us.
yes, yes. Actually, that's true. That's true. That's actually quite the difference with freelancers and with a team, like with an outsourcing company. Um, you've mentioned this before. Better support is progressive, and actually, I think I've also see this in your website. You're offering a premium outsourcing experience. So I'm just curious about these two words. Progressive first of all, and then premium. So what do you really mean? I mean, when you tell these words, what do you want a potential client to feel or to know about you?
Yeah, so progressive, it's more of our like internal branding of getting the best talent. But I think we when talking about premium, there is so much more that we offer than just sourcing the right candidate. Although our employees are typically in direct contact with our clients, I mean our management is very experienced, and we save a lot of time by listening into the needs of the client and then relaying that information to our employees. And I think honestly that's what makes us premium, that we both get the best talent, but also the right way of managing and nurturing that.
Yes, that's true. That's true. That's another thing. Like finding that talent and actually keeping that talent. I think those are. It's actually my next question. My next question is actually like,
Yeah.
how were you able, or like maybe you can share just some thoughts. I mean, this it's not, first of all, it's not easy managing BPO or like an outsourcing company like what you did before. Second, it's actually difficult to do by yourself. You have your own outsourcing startup. So can you just share some thoughts on like how you think you're able to grow better support to the team right now? I mean, to the size right now, and even to the client base right now. So can you just like,
Yeah.
yeah, can you just like share
I,
some?
I I think that our employees they really align with the vision that we have, that remote work should be like the norm, at least if you're living in a city like Manila. And I mean, coming in as a relatively young person as I am, starting an outsourcing company, I think a lot of wants to be part of that journey and see where it takes you. And I'm very happy to delegate tasks or such, because I don't have the knowledge about everything, and I realize the background and expertise that my employees have. They know stuff that I don't know, and they have worked for companies that I haven't. So I think they find it a really pleasant place to work, because of the work-life balance, but also that the career opportunities that we can offer.
Thinking about this, are you looking for more Filipinos to join the team? Are you are you like hiring right now? Maybe someone
Always,
hearing this right now wants to join the team.
yeah, always happy to hear from people that would like to join. I mean, as I elaborated on before, we hire when we have a need from a client, so it changes like very quickly. And I certainly do everything that I can to bring in more clients, and I'm in discussion with prospects all the time. So I would love to hear from some people that are hungry and can align with our vision, and hopefully we can offer something very soon.
Yeah, so part of like, yeah, the company building part. I mean, do you give a lot of attention to recruitment? I mean, to hiring the right people. I mean, do you give a lot of focus there? I mean, I'm just curious on that side. I mean, as a CEO, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's almost like the most important thing, to get the right people in. And I spend a lot of time on it at the moment, and hopefully something that I can delegate for the future. But typically, it would be me that screens the candidates at first, and then I would get a second opinion from a Filipino colleague of mine. But it has worked out very, very well so far. And we have a great retention, actually.
But I really want to ask, like, how can you know? I mean, it's just like instinctive. I mean, how can you know like a Filipino? I mean, I also want to ask, what special trait maybe a Filipino maybe has compared to other people that really aligns with the vision, that really makes you want,
Mm.
I need you in my team. I mean, like that kind of feeling.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain things you can't put your finger on, but I mean, as 8 years as a business leader in the Philippines, you can sort of pick up on like small details that, gives you an idea of if you think they are a good fit or not. But I always look at like the eagerness of, you know, how much does this person, want this job? For that, I have a few secrets.
Yeah, of
But
course.
I mean, overall, I always look at like the hunger of how much do they want to be part of the company, and then obviously like the proficiency in English is very important, because it's important that the client can communicate easily with our employees.
And by the way, so I think it's very special for better support to really like to really focus on serving small and medium enterprises. So are you also like are you also like looking at bigger companies to serve, or are you really focusing on SMEs? I mean, because it may be a different, I think it's a different niche, and it's like it will be difficult for the team to transition from SMEs to bigger teams, so to bigger companies. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, definitely we are able to take on larger companies. Our focus at the moment is small to medium sized businesses because, like, typically they are easier to acquire when you're like a startup company such as we are. But I mean, I'm very confident in our ability, and if you look at the experience our employees have, handling big accounts, big US accounts, I have no doubt that we would do a great job if we are given a chance. So if there's any large corporation out there listening to this, feel free to contact us.
Yeah, I'm also just curious. I mean, how about startups? Are you interested like to provide your service to like startups?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, even though we don't always make so much profits on like small startups, we even offer like part time. So you don't necessarily need to acquire a full time employee to work for your business. We also accept like even few hours because we hope that we can bring expertise and we can grow together.
Yeah, it's really nice to hear these thoughts. Sorry if I have a lot of questions. Maybe just to wrap up this conversation. So maybe we can wrap up with outsourcing as an industry. I mean, you've been with outsourcing like with like for a big portion of your life, right? I mean, for of your working life. So first, what really is the relevance of outsourcing in terms of? I mean, because in the I want to ask like the philosophy. Like in the future, do you see things will be more and more remote? Things will be more and more outsourced. I mean, let's just give like a farther perspective to outsourcing. Because as you've said, family. Filipinos really love family. And Filipinos right now want to avoid traffic jam. I mean, it's a really big problem in the
Yeah,
Philippines. So do you think in the future, like, work will be more remote, work will be more like from home, and there will be more time for everyone to spend with their families? And what's the effect also with your clients? I mean, just looking at the farther bigger picture.
yeah. I mean, definitely. I'm so passionate about remote work because I have a strong belief in it. I know that the traditional BPO companies, some of them have had problems to make like a switch to remote work, which I fully understand. But I think in the end, I mean, they realize the potential in it as well, and it's very difficult to stop it if you have like the manpower that actually wants it that way. It's difficult to resist, but yeah, I mean, I see a future where hopefully Filipinos will be able to spend a lot less time in traffic and a lot more time and energy with what they actually love to do.
Yeah, but it's true. It's really a lot of even financial loss. I mean, traffic really. I mean, usually in the Philippines, like even like in Metro Manila, I've lived almost all my life in Metro Manila, and usually you have to spend like 2 hours or 3 hours or even more, 4 or 5 hours for some going to work. So
Yeah,
I'm really also looking forward to that kind of future. So just for our
yeah.
final question, Johan. So what's really the vision of better support? I mean, what really are you aiming for in the future? What really do you want to see? Like, what kind of growth do you want to see for better support in the future? And maybe you can share some future plans that you have for us.
Yeah, so I currently work with short-term goals, and our goal for this year is to double the number of employees. And I mean, in this industry, you rarely talk about like turn. turnover and such is more about the headcount. So I will stick to that, and we hope that we can double this year. But I mean, if you talk about the long-term vision, I mean, my answer has to be like the same as previously. I really hope that I can be a leading force for other outsourcing companies to have people work remotely. That's what I'm passionate about.
Yeah, that's actually a good mission. I mean, outsourcing should be looked at on that side also, not just that clients can have it cheaper for them, but for the team, for Filipinos, like to have a remote based work that you can so that you can spend more time with your family. Sorry, I just want to ask about this because you mentioned the turnover, like of the I think it's of the turnover rate of the team attrition rate because in traditional BPOs, there's a high turnover. I mean, there's a high. I'm not sure of the term. Like when an employee joins the team and then goes out. But I think you're focusing on really retaining that talent, retaining so finding that good talent,
Mm.
and managing and nurturing and retaining that good talent. Do you really put much focus on that?
Absolutely. And I mean, I think it comes as a natural thing because of the work culture and the vision that we have for the company. So it's not something we have to work, so much on like a daily basis
Yeah.
per se.
Mm.
But I mean, definitely it's in our overall vision because I know that, if I can keep my employees happy, I mean, it's gonna be a better outcome for everyone. So that's always top of mind. But I think we're able to do it quite effortlessly
Yeah.
because of our work culture, basically.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. It's really different. Like even with the task, with the job, the exact job, and the culture and the vision. It's I think your progressiveness is really different from other companies. And yeah. I'm really looking forward to what you're doing. I really hope you grow bigger, and I hope as you grow bigger, you retain that kind of vision, you retain that kind of culture. I mean, it may be hard because if you have a larger team, it may be difficult like to really translate that culture to everyone in that team. So maybe it will really be a challenge, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it will obviously be a challenge, but I'm pretty keen to show that we can do it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if we can become more established, I mean, we can be a good example for other companies to follow. And I'm very confident that we can.
Yeah, right. Maraming salamat, Johan. So, if our listeners want to know more about you and about better support, so how can they find more information? Maybe they want to join the team. Maybe they want to contact you just to know more. So, how can they get to connect with you? Or
Sure. So we have a website called bettersupport.io, which people are welcome to visit and drop a message. I'm also on LinkedIn, so just search for my name there, and I should show up. And yeah, I'm very happy to connect either if it's for people joining our company, or if I can help with advice, or if someone has some entrepreneurial spirit that they want to try, I will try to help out as much as I can.
that's nice. That's nice. Thank you, Johan. Thank you very much for this conversation.
Thank you,
Maraming salamat
Yanni.
for sharing about. I actually it's actually very interesting to talk about this new. It's actually the future of work, right? So yeah, it's actually very exciting to talk about this. So maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat, Yanni.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to our 30 patrons. This episode is super powered by TechShake, Asia's most active Philippine-based startup ecosystem builder creating bridges with investors, corporations, and governments. One CFO, the tech-enabled CFO, bookkeeping, and tax services for startups and SMEs. Pinoy IP Works, capture your startup's value proposition through patent and trademark protection. Pocketworks, the leading enabler and only Internet of Things social enterprise in the Philippines. Looking for buy and sell online with Sigurado sellers. NutriCoach, the all-in-one productivity tool for dietitians and nutritionists. Benjoy's Food Products, the home of premium bacon ends, tapa, and tocino. And D-Buzz, microblogging app powered by the Hive blockchain promoting freedom of speech and content ownership. This episode is powered by AltSwitch, ePlayment, Twala, and Hive Energy PH. AskLex PH Academy is our official e-learning partner. Get certifications on Lean Six Sigma, project management, data science, and many more. Support the podcast through the links in the description.